How many discounts does USAA Auto Insurance offer? Too many to say here. Multi-vehicle discount, safe driver discount, new vehicle discount, storage discount, legacy.
How many discounts will you stack up? Tap the banner or visit USAA.com/auto discounts. Restrictions apply.
The Dominic Carter Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And the number to reach us this hour live, 800-848-9222. Dominic Carter here with you. Boy, are sparks flying on Capitol Hill.
Whistleblowers came to you as early as 2019. Let's look. As early as 2019, whistleblower. Don't talk over me.
No,
as early as 2019, it's my hearing, pal. As early as 2019.
Don't call me
whistleblowers came to, well, I should call you prisoner because you ought to be in jail.
Well, we'll see what you can do about it.
And that's Senator Hawley of Missouri and the Attorney General of Minnesota, Keith Ellison, as they went into it and got into it repeatedly. We're going to let you hear parts of that. Lots going on, plus the very latest in terms of Arizona and the investigation. Again, the number to reach us, 800-848-9222. The entire world has heard by now the glove found near the scene of Nancy Guthrie's disappearance. And this is Nancy Grace on the Fox News channel.
You know, this guy was so careful to wear gloves. He didn't want to leave any fingerprints behind. What many perpetrators do not realize is they are leaving their fingerprints inside the glove. Now, problem, if it is a powdered glove, sometimes sweat and powder can mix together and blur the fingerprint. However, sometimes that powder can actually preserve the print. So we got that going for us. And it's not just that the gloves are similar to those we see on Nancy Guthrie's front porch that the perpetrator's wearing. It's location, location, location. Near her neighborhood, in her neighborhood, a mile and a half away from the crime scene. Why were they there? Think. They were also combing the area around Campbell and Estrada today by the road. They were in pairs, stretched out, lots of them looking right alongside the road, going up into the cactus. Why? I think there was a tip. I wonder, did someone see someone throw something out a car window? It's not a coincidence. There's no coincidence in criminal law.
And so that's Nancy Grace appearing on Sean Hannity last night on the Fox News channel. We see your calls coming in, 800-848-9222. So before we get into Senator Hawley and the Attorney General of Minnesota, Keith Ellison, I want to talk for a second about partisan politics and how unfair things are to the right and to the Trump administration, because no official, no parent should have to go through what Vice President J.D. Vance did. We're going to let him tell it in his own words, what he had to experience, and his children. You may recall that trip that he did to Disney World. Well, listen to the Vice President of the United States.
Of these people are creating an environment where things like this are inevitably going to happen. A couple of months ago, I headlined a fundraiser in Southern California, and since, we'd be out there anyways, my wife and I decided to take our kids to Disneyland one weekend. We had fun, and to be clear, most of the guests said very nice things, or they just left us alone. But there was a loud and very vocal minority that would shout at my children, who were 8, 5, and 3, whenever they got the opportunity. "You should disown your dad, you little," one middle-aged woman yelled at my 5-year-old. "Tell the Secret Service to protect the Constitution, not your father," screamed another. Are these women violent? Probably not. Are they deranged? Certainly. And while our side of the aisle certainly has its crazies, it is a statistical fact that most of the lunatics in American politics today are proud members of the far left.
So something's got to be done to lower the temperature, but it just can't be the right and the Trump administration trying to lower the temperature. It has to be the left as well. I am saying kudos to Missouri Senator Josh Hawley for holding the Attorney General of Minnesota, Keith Ellison, his feet to the fire at a hearing today on Capitol Hill, part one of these two going at it.
Mr. Ellison, let me start with you. You're the Attorney General of the state of Minnesota. Do I have that correct? That's a yes?
Sir, you're aware of my job. You know the answer to that.
You're not going to answer my questions? Are we going to start this way? Are you the Attorney General of the state of Minnesota, yes or no?
You know the answer.
Mr. Ellison, you're in my courtroom now. You're under oath. So I suggest that you answer my questions. You the chief law enforcement officer of the state of Minnesota, yes or no? Let's try another question. Are you familiar with the $9 billion in historic fraud out of your state, including the $250 million in the Feeding Our Future program alone? You familiar with that? Don't turn to the pages in your book to get your potted answers. Are you familiar with it? Yes or no?
Yes, I am familiar with it.
Very familiar, aren't you? Because the people who ran the Feeding Our Futures program came to you in your official office in the state capitol December 11th, 2021, and asked for your help in getting investigators off their backs. They complained to you for upwards of an hour about state investigators going after them, and they begged you to help them, and you agreed to it, amazingly. And we know you did.
That's not
because
true.
It's all caught on tape.
Yeah,
every single sentence is caught on tape. Here's what you said. Let's take a look. You said, it's not a question. You said to them, send me the names of all these folks who are investigating them. You said to them, send me their names. And I'll take that list and I'll call the person over at Education who was investigating them and say, what's going on? Why am I getting these complaints? Then he went on to say, I already have my team working on this. What day should we get together to discuss it again? You made pledge after pledge to them. You said, we've got to make sure this guy who's investigating them stops it. You said, you have my attention. I'm concerned about this. You said, let's go fight these people, meaning the people who were investigating the fraud. Why'd you do it? Why'd you help them?
Are you going to let me answer?
Please, we're all ears.
So first of all, you're cherry picking quotes out of there.
Why did you help them?
I thought you were going to let me answer.
Why did you help them?
Are you going to let me answer?
Why did you help
You
them?
let me answer and I'll answer you.
Tell the truth and I'll let you answer.
I will tell the truth.
Good.
Let's do that.
That'd be a nice change. Why'd you help them?
Now see, Mr. Chairman, I didn't come here to be insulted. I came here voluntarily.
You came here for the truth. Let's have it. Why did you help them?
Round one between Senator Hawley and the Attorney General of Minnesota, Keith Ellison. And Keith Ellison should be under indictment. There's no other way to say this. He is part two.
Why'd you take their money? Why'd you take their money?
I didn't.
You took $10,000.
No, that's a false statement.
$10,000 9 days after the meeting.
False statement.
You took $10,000. Here's what happened. They went to your office.
They
solicited money from you. They solicited help from you.
That's also wrong.
They came to your office. It was your official office. You met with them for 54 minutes. They asked you for help. You pledged it to them, and they talked repeatedly about money. In fact, it's all they talked about.
That's a lie.
Money, 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 money.
That was part two. Here's part three of them going at each other.
And 9 days later, you took $10,000
that's a lie.
from people who were then indicted. It's in your reports. Why'd you do it?
Sir,
was it worth it?
You know what? This is a theatrical performance.
10,000. This is the truth. This is what accountability looks like, of which you've had none. You helped fraudsters defraud your state and this government of $9 billion, and you got a fat campaign contribution out of it. You ought to be indicted.
True. Well,
that's the truth.
You ought to be indicted. The words from Senator Josh Hawley of Missouri to the Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison. And Senator Hawley is correct on this one. Let's start with your telephone calls. Leo in Canarsie. Leo, what's on your mind?
Yo, Dominic, I got fresh news right now. You're not going to believe this one. The guy with the beret, he's going to be joining Charlemagne. He's going to be joining the Charlemagne show.
Okay, wait a minute. Leo. It says here you wanted to talk about Minnesota fraud. And you're going off on a tangent.
I'm going to get to that.
No, you're not, because you're not. No, you're not gonna get to that, because I gave you the opportunity to make a point and you just made a fool out of yourself. Thank you for the telephone call, and have a good day.
Dominic is done with you.
All right, let's go to Judith in Brooklyn. Judith, what's on your mind?
Hi, Dominic. You know, I heard today on the news about these black gloves, and the first thing, I wonder if I'm the only one thinking about this. Like, did it take them 11, 12 days to find these black gloves? Are you kidding me? It just doesn't smell right to me. Something is off over here. They should have found those gloves days before, if not the first day, with all the people coming and going.
I agree
right?
with you. Yes.
Isn't it weird?
Well, it's a matter, I think, of the FBI trying to respect local law enforcement, letting local law enforcement run lead on this, when the fact of the matter is, Judith, the FBI should have taken over on day one. But go ahead.
But you know what? I don't know when they took over. They did take over at some point. And all of a sudden we find out we found some black gloves. Something is wrong over there. Those black gloves, if they were there, should have been found earlier. So I don't know what they're doing and maybe what they're planting, because today you can't trust anybody anymore. That's how I feel, Dominic, you know?
Right. Do you think that that this 84-year-old mom, Nancy Guthrie, will be found alive?
You know what? You never know. You just never know. You know how people are sometimes, there's something and the rubble falls all over in a place, whatever, and you figured everyone's dead by now, whatever. And then they find someone that's still alive after how many days. You just never know. You know, God willing, she'll still be alive. You know, we have to think positive, you know?
Agreed.
Positive energy.
Agreed.
Positive energy,
Agreed.
you know?
Judith, thank you for the lovely call. Let's go to Rich, line 5, New Jersey. Rich, what's on your mind?
Hey, Dominic, it's Richie here. You know, I was doing my my exercises for my bad back yesterday, and I was listening to what's his name again? Show in the morning, and he was talking to an ex-NYPD guy, and it just struck me as I was listening to them talk about the Guthrie case. It almost sounded like she's still in the house, and I was just wondering if you had an opinion about that, because there was a guy coming with a backpack, and maybe he had brick and mortar tools or something like that. And the blood was on the porch, but unless I heard incorrectly, it didn't go beyond the porch. So I don't know. I was wondering if you felt maybe there's any.
Rich, I would hope by now, and thank you for the telephone call, but I would hope by now that they've used infrared technology that would illustrate or show or give indications if there was a body somewhere or a person on the premises. I would hope and think that would be the first thing that was done. So I don't think that Miss Guthrie, that Mom Guthrie is still in the house. I mean, who knows though, Rich? I mean, this whole thing is bizarre. It's absolutely bizarre. We've got to take a break. We're taking your telephone calls, 800-848-9222.
The Dominic Carter Show. Entertaining and informative. On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And we are back. The number to reach us, 800-848-9222. Let's go to Jake, line 2, Long Island. Jake, what's on your mind?
Good afternoon, Jake. Good afternoon, Dominic. I'm saying hello to myself.
It's all good, Jake.
Yeah, well, listen, I'm going to tell you something here you're not going to like, but I'm going to be very open with you. I used to be an avid listener to ABC.
Okay, If you have a complaint against the station, address that to management. Only please address what concerns you have as it relates to this show. I am not here to be a spokesman for the station. We have professionals for that. So what's the point you want to make, Jake?
I don't want you to be a spokesman.
No. Jake, I don't want to cut you off. You're about to go on some long statement about something that you're not happy about with the station. I'm not here for that. I'm one show of many on the network. So if you have a concern, you need to address that to management. And the producers can give you the emails. They will get right back to you. I assure you of that. Go ahead, Jake. I'm going to try this one last time.
Excuse me. Isn't this your show here where callers like myself can call up and talk to you about
that's what I'm trying to do, but I do not want to sit. You want to talk about, I believe, Curtis Sliwa, and I don't want to waste my time engaging in that. Why would I want to do that?
I'm not talking about Curtis.
Okay, so what is it? My patience is growing very thin.
Why?
What
Because
is it that you want to talk about?
I'm trying to tell you what I believe happens to be the truth, and why don't you...
As it relates to what? Get to the point.
I am, but you...
Okay, this is the last time. This is the last time. What is it you want to say?
Talk about it to Cuomo, okay?
Okay, so then why didn't you just say I want to talk about Cuomo and get to your point?
I did. I told you Cuomo...
You set up this litany of I'm not going to like what you're about to say. If you got something to say about Cuomo, just say it.
Okay, let me say it. How the heck does he have a show?
See, there we go. Just like I thought. That's exactly where I thought we were going with this.
Dominic is done with you.
Cut Jake off. If you have an issue, I don't mind answering a question about Cuomo or anybody else. I don't make the hiring decisions here. I am an employee myself. I do what management tells me to do, period. They tell me I do a show at 3 p.m. and I do a show at midnight. So why would you call the Dominic Carter Show and expect for me to be able to give you a reasonable answer as to why Mr. Cuomo has a show? Do you think our company president, Chad Lopez, sat down with me and said, well, Dominic, what do you think about us bringing Cuomo in? Of course not. That's above my pay grade. That's as it relates to Cuomo or anyone else. So what's the point of asking me a question about Andrew Cuomo or any other guest? So, Mr. Sliwa, if management said today they're bringing Mr. Sliwa back, I have no input in that. It's either you roll with the flow or you don't. But it's greatly unfair. Why don't you call up one of my other colleagues that will actually put you in your place and ask them what they think about the station hiring Cuomo? I have nothing to do with that, period, at all. You know what I'm going to do? I don't have time for another call. I see we have calls from Scottsdale, Arizona, from Barbara in New Jersey, Joe in Lynbrook, George in Rockland County, amongst the calls. But it's time for us to take a break. We're going to do exactly that, 800-848-9222. We're going to be coming right back with more of your telephone calls.
The Dominic Carter Show. Entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And we are back, about to return to your telephone calls. But I found something very interesting. The guy wants to be president, and that is pretty boy Gavin Newsom, the governor of California. And I'm thinking in recent memory, when have we seen a spouse do this? So Gavin Newsom is at a news conference the other day, and his wife interrupts and steps up to the podium. I want you folks to listen to this.
No, we just find it incredulous that we have Planned Parenthood here, and women are 51% of the population. And the majority of the questions, all of these questions, have really been about other issues. So it's just fascinating. You have this incredible women's caucus and all these allies, and you're not asking about it. And this happens over and over and over and over again. You wonder why we have such a horrific war on women in this country, and that these guys are getting away with it, because you don't seem to care. So I just offer that with love. You have incredible women in this room, and you have these allies. Ask about what we're here for today, don't you think?
And that's Jennifer Newsom. And while the ladies around the Newsoms were clapping and smiling, Gavin Newsom did not have a smile on his face because his wife literally walked up to the podium, took control of the podium over him, and he was forced to stand besides her. And so in a campaign, I could just see a commercial being done I don't want to sound sexist, so I'm going to leave it at that. But she interrupted his news conference, literally, as you just heard. And we've heard a million different versions of the Bad Bunny Super Bowl performance, but I found this very interesting. Jesse Waters on the Fox News channel, and everybody's talking about 135 million people or whatever the number may be, right? But I don't think any of us stopped to consider this, that the viewership went down the moment Bad Bunny took the stage.
Was it something he said? Probably. Bad Bunny lost millions of viewers during his halftime performance, which you may remember was in Espanol. The crowd didn't comprende either. According to the numbers, Bad Bunny lost a record slice of Super Bowl viewers during halftime, but it also could have been that people turned it off because the game sucked.
And the game was awful. But you look around the stadium, it was not electric when Bad Bunny was performing. Now, if you say you had a great response with the television crowd, perhaps, but not in the stadium. Let's go to line 4, John in Scottsdale, Arizona. John, what's on your mind? Okay, we'll go to the next call then, because John's not there. Let's go, let's see here. Let's go to Barbara in New Jersey. Barbara, what's going on?
Hi, Dominic. I don't know if I didn't hear this, if I missed it. Regarding the Guthrie case, has anyone mentioned if they sent out the dogs? Usually they have dogs that are looking for evidence, and this is such a wide area that they've been checking. I can't believe that they're just relying, on law enforcement, human beings, without bringing bloodhounds or somebody, some dogs in.
I want, Barbara, that's $1 million question. I want to say that they have, but now that I'm thinking about it, I don't believe that they have brought in the dogs. And it makes you wonder. I mean, I love law enforcement. I really do. Support law enforcement 1,000%.
Right.
But what team is out there investigating this? Because again, you would think, to your point, that's one of the first things. I could have sworn that they have brought in the dogs, but that's one of the first things that you would imagine would happen.
Right. And I as well, having many relatives and my son especially in law enforcement, I respect all law enforcement at any level. But again, human beings, this has gone on for how many days? I'm sure everyone is getting very tired, because they're covering such a large area, going from door to door, revisiting certain areas. I just can't imagine that they don't have dogs there sniffing for something belonging to Mrs. Guthrie. And right. I hope and pray that they find her alive and well. So that's all I have to say, Dominic.
Right. Well, Barbara, I think we all share your point of view. But we all know that she's on medication that she needed relatively early. We don't know if they brought her medication with her. We don't know anything. And it's almost like we're almost at the same spot, but this case could break at the drop of a dime with the video that came out. Barbara, thank you for the great telephone call. Line 3, Joe in Lynbrook. Joe, what's on your mind?
Hey, Dominic. I just heard the clip you played about the vice president going to Disney.
Yes.
And somebody said something nasty about his children, to his children?
To his children, yes.
Dominic, can you explain to me? Maybe I'm getting past my time. I just turned 61. Why would they say that to little babies? These are not grown adults like the president's children. The president's children.
You want the honest answer? Do you want the honest answer or the political answer?
No, the honest answer. I mean, at least
the honest answer is they're liberals and they think they can't do anything wrong. Liberals think they have the answer for everything. They know better than everybody else, and that's it. That's the honest answer.
I mean, am I getting past my time? I just turned 61. You don't say that to little babies.
Right, you don't. But that's decorum and respect, and all that's gone out of the window today because they can't beat President Trump and his team on the merits, so they're just going batty. They're just doing anything and everything that they can to try and disrupt. And it's still not working. It's still not working at all because all you're going to do is get J.D. Vance elected president. And so we're going to have these 4 years of President Trump and then hopefully 8 more years of Vance. And then maybe, whoever's next after that, Secretary of State Rubio, I don't know. But yeah, it's punching below the belt, Joe. But it seems like that happens a lot these days. It makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. Let's go to Dennis in the Bronx, line 2. Dennis, what's on your mind? Dennis, are you there? Okay, Dennis is not there. Let's go to Kaylee, line 4, Oceanside. Kaylee, what's going on?
Hi, I love your show. Thank you so much for taking my call.
Thank you.
I don't want to be disrespectful, but I think I'm not understanding something.
Okay.
I know about the Guthrie situation. Why does it get such a big coverage, like a 24/7 in all the different programs? I don't understand why before they have even something new to say, before they have like a new thing that they found, it just gets a 24/7 coverage. There were other people that were kidnapped and did not get this kind of coverage. So I don't understand why they give this case such a priority, as if it's that's what I'm gonna ask. Maybe
well, you're not being disrespectful at all. You just asked a very legitimate question, and I'm gonna try and answer it. So, Kaylee, it's not fair that the Guthrie case receives this type of coverage. In other cases, you never hear anything, but I'm going to tell you why it's happening now. It's happening, and you already know the answer why, because of all the intrigue, and it's about Savannah Guthrie's mother. So you have this national anchor on the Today Show that pretty much is universally beloved. She doesn't really have any critics because she doesn't really cover really highly controversial issues. She may do political interviews, but she does them down the middle. And so you have this this network anchor worth millions of dollars, and it's the intrigue. And so it's the media reporting on itself. One of our own, her mother, snatched, and then you add in snatched and kidnapping, and it has all the makings of a Hollywood movie. And dare I say, this will be a Hollywood movie at some point. But I feel your pain. I do, and you weren't disrespectful at all, because it is baffling if you're looking at this from the outside. Why am I hearing so much about this 24/7? Then when you bring in the ratings, right? So you have NBC, and by the way, the ratings for the show that Savannah Guthrie works on, the ratings are up substantially, as one would expect. And so she hasn't been to work. She backed out of the Olympics. It's a story that's national in scope, involving America's darling and her mother, and it's got a East Coast, West Coast thing. It's got everything intrigue that the media loves. And so that's why we're looking at the coverage in the way that we are. But that's a very, very good question, because it becomes always, why are certain crimes, why are certain issues played up and other ones are not at all? It completely ignored. So it's legit, and you were not disrespectful at all. Let's go to Joan on line 5, New Jersey. Joan, what's on your mind?
Hey, Dominic. I lived out in Arizona for quite some time, and I've been through those foothills like south of Tucson and stuff. And there's a lot of abandoned mines out there that, you could just like walk in, fall down, and nobody ever would find you, especially around her, home out there at, at the base of the Catalina Mountains there.
Mm-hmm. But no, so okay, all right, Joan. So that's a valid point. But then, what about the blood that was found near the house?
Well, like I said, they could have abducted her and just tossed her down one of the mines or something, because a lot of people, like I said, that was a big mining area, was Arizona. So, and especially being so close, I'm sure they probably know where some of these shafts are.
Right. Well, Joan, who knows? One way or the other, this case will be resolved. And and I know, like you, we're all hoping for the positive. But Joan, I want to ask you a question, and it's about an animal, because I've been thinking about this. So we're talking about the Tucson area, so on. And there's lots of sometimes weed and wood, whatever. Are there snakes there? Do you know?
Oh my God! They got the biggest rattlesnakes you could imagine.
That's what I thought. That's exactly what I thought.
And down around Tucson, too, they have tarantulas out there and everything. And they got a lot of scorpions. So, yeah. And then you got a lot of the lizards and everything. And when I first moved out there, you saw a lot of road runners. But with all the building and everything else that went on, you don't see that many road runners anymore.
So wait a minute, you're telling me road runners were a real thing?
Yeah.
Like beep beep road runner?
Yeah, but they're tiny like little birds, and they actually, it's funny because if you ever watch a road runner, a real road runner, they'll like run right up a wall or run right up somebody's house or whatever. But yeah, they're real birds.
So I learned something new today. Not just a cartoon. Road runners beep beep is a real thing. Wow.
Yeah, but they have a lot of like rattlesnakes. And when I worked at this JCPenney outlet there, we had a sign right at the beginning for people, to check their guns at the desk, because, like I said, you're out there and rattlesnakes are all over the place there.
But at least they give you a warning with their tail, right? You hear them coming. They don't just bite you first, right?
Well, that's the thing, is like I used to go on a lot of the foot trails, just jogging and stuff. And then It's like they would lay really still. And it's like, yeah. So it's like, and then when I was riding my bike home, I'm thinking, wow, that's a big piece of tubing in the road. And I look down and there's a rattlesnake.
Oh boy. So,
so they're there in the scorpions and everything.
And the road runners. Hey, Joan, thank you for the lovely educational call. Thank you very much. Folks, it is time for a break. We are coming right back.
The Dominic Carter Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And the Tunnel to Towers Foundation, final thoughts of the day. I'm punting, so I have more time with you folks on the telephone. Let's go to George, line 1, Rockland County. George, what's on your mind?
How you doing, Dominic? Okay, so I don't know if anybody were talking about it, okay, but Bad Bunny, the reason why he appears there is because of Bill Gates. Bill Gates wanted him to be there, okay? It was a personal interest of Bill Gates. He pushed for it, used his clout. And
okay, so why is that important? Why should we care about that? Assuming it's true, for argument's sake, why is that important?
Okay, because you can see how the mighty elite is using their power and politics to get people who they want to be there, okay? I mean, listen, okay, it's just a point of view, right, obviously. If I may also add something.
No. I have too many calls, and frankly, there's nothing to substantiate that. That's just, is that just your opinion? I mean, do you have anything to substantiate that?
No, not at all. Not at all, Dominic. No, this was brought up on your own station here. Now, we don't want to talk about other.
Please don't. And I don't know. I don't know what show you heard it on. This is why I don't like points brought up as it relates to other talk show hosts, because I don't know how true it is. I don't know. Thank you for the call. I don't know. I don't know, folks. Let's go to John, line 2, Long Island. John, what's on your mind?
Hey, Dominic, I don't know if you can hear me right. The connection's a little poor. I
do hear you.
So, did you hear this speech Mom Donnie gave the other day about Muhammad coming, he's a stranger and everything? And
I saw clips of it. I saw clips of it.
What was that accent change?
Well, I've heard that about him. I've heard that about him and other politicians before, having accent changes. So wait, John, you're telling me you're just figuring out Mom Donnie's a phony? You're just figuring that out? You're just figuring out he's a con man?
I know, but when are other people going to wake up and look at this?
Well, the media is not going to point it out. The media is in love for the New York media. Mom Donnie is like Obama. They're not going to point out any of his shortfallings. They sugarcoat everything he does, including the 18 homeless people that died. So you're not going to get the local media. The local media was complicit in getting him elected. Look at what happened in those debates. The debates were 2 against 1. Cuomo standing by himself, and not just 2 against 1, but the panelists were in favor of. They didn't ask Mom Donnie any tough questions. They were just they were enamored by him just to be on the same stage with him. Thank you very much for the call. Let's go to Steve, New Jersey, line 4. Steve, what's on your mind?
Hey, Dom, to what that lady said with the over fascination on the Guthrie case, I agree with you that part of the reason, that's my comment, is the over fascination with the media and one of their own. There's another reason though. Reporters these days have become just lazy, Dominic. They don't want to go to the story. It's easy to send a reporter down to the White House to harass President Trump or his press secretary, and say to find an embed to find out what's going on in Iran. There were 2 explosions last week. They went under the radar. 2 explosions in Iran last week, one in a military base, another facility. It went under the radar. We're sending another air carrier there. It looks like something's going to happen over there, but you wouldn't know the way the media is ignoring the story here. They're lazy. They're cowardly. They're afraid.
But you're giving the reporters too much credit. The reporters don't make those decisions. The assignment desk, the editors make those decisions of what the reporters. We're just robots, Steve, to be honest with you. To be completely honest with you, we don't make that call. It's the assignment editors. It's the managing editor. They're the ones that decide where the reporter's going to go. What's the hook of the story? What's the angle of the story? But yes, reporters are lazy. And thank you for the call, Steve. And to those of you on hold, I do apologize that I won't be able to get to your calls. We're just out of time. And then when you add the fact of, Mom, I want to be a star on TV. No offense. Look at Caitlin Collins. 2 years ago, she was a beginner hoping to get a shot. Now she's a star White House reporter in just a matter of a few years. It doesn't work that way. Folks, all it takes is $11 a month. Please help T2T.org.
Thanks for listening to The Dominic Carter Show. You can hear The Dominic Carter Show weekdays at 3 p.m. and Monday through Thursday at midnight and Sunday starting at 11 p.m. on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?